Good evening. We are Michael and Lois Eaton. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
It's the third night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayomim ahem bazman hazeh. Chag Sameach, everyone. Chag Sameach to my dear friends at Rose Schnitzer and at Robeson Home and at Pnei Or. My name is Nissan Papermaster, and I come from Analova in the old country. Which old country, you might ask? Well, doesn't matter, because I lived in 6 different countries during my life, even though I never moved out of my village. When I was a small boy, it was Poland, and then it was Prussia. And then when I was a man, it was Latvia and Lithuania, back and forth fighting. Then for a little while, we were Courland. And then finally, the Russian Empire swallowed us up. Well, you know what's funny about all that? The money, the currency. It was always changing. We never knew if we were rich or poor. And our savings, we could never figure out whether they were there or not. It was all so precarious. I'm going to read a story now for Hanukkah called Hanukkah Money. It's sort of a little bit about that. And it's all about what it was like when we were in the old country. This is written by Sholem Aleichem, our favorite cousin. Can you guess what is the best holiday of all? What would you say? Hanukkah, of course. You get to stay out of school for 8 days, and you eat latkes every day, and you bet small fortunes, and you win them and you lose them with your dreidel. And from every direction, from all of your relatives, the Hanukkah gelt pours in. So what could be a better holiday than Hanukkah, huh? In the midwinter, when outside the frost is burning, the snow-sealed windows are covered with delicate patterns, and the indoors is warm. The silver Hanukkah lamp has been ready since morning, and Father paces the room back and forth, saying his evening prayers. He goes to the drawer, he takes out a candle, and while he is still praying to us, he turns to my younger brother Model and I, and intones in Hebrew, Ushamo Echad. He points to the kitchen. We don't understand what he means. What do you want, a match? Mother, call Mother to hear the blessings over the Hanukkah candles. So we dash off, tripping over one another. Mother, quick, the Hanukkah lights. Why, a plague on you. The Hanukkah lights, my mother says, and sets aside her work in the kitchen, and she comes out into the living room. She's followed by Brena, the cook, a dark woman with a mustache. Mother makes a pious face, while Bryna stands by the door, wiping her hands on her apron, and she puts one hand up to her face and rubs her nose like this, and a black smudge is left on her nose. Model and I, we almost explode trying to keep from laughing. Father carries a lighted candle to the Hanukkah lamp, and he bows and he says a familiar blessing, which starts out with Baruch atah Adonai and ends up with Shel Chanukah. Mother answers piously, Amen, and Bryna nods her head, and she makes such an odd face that Model and I don't even dare looking at one another. We might burst out laughing. These candles we light to recall the miracles, the wonders, the battles, and the victories that thou performest. Sha'asa nisim lavoteinu. Father chants in a nasal tone, wandering back and forth across the room. He stops before the Hanukkah lamp, prays and prays and prays, and never stops praying. We can't wait until he finishes, because then is when he will reach into his pocket and pull out his purse. We look at each other, poke each other. Model, you ask him for the Hanukkah money. Why me? Why you? Because you're younger. No, he says. You, because you're older. Father knows that what we're talking about, but he pretends not to. And as for us, our hearts are pounding in our chests. We look at the ceiling. We scratch our ears. We pretend that what is happening doesn't have anything to do with us. Finally, Father coughs. Yeah. All right, children. Come here. Here is your Hanukkah gelt. And we walk and we take it, and then we walk away slowly at first, like well-mannered boys, then faster and faster down the hallway. And then we jump and jig, and we hop on one foot, saying, Engala, Bengala, Stupa, Tsanga, Artsa, Bartsa, Gola, Svartsa, Engala, Remala, Bengala, Thegala, hop! The door opens. Uncle Benny walks in. Come here, you rascals! And he puts his hand in his vest pocket and removes 2 coins. Hanukkah money for you! And he gives it to us. Father takes out a large sheet of paper and draws the checkerboard on it. He asks us to bring beans from the kitchen to use as checkers. My brother Model and I take out our dreidels and we begin to play, and Father and Uncle Benny sit down to play the game. One thing I will ask you, Benny, don't take your hand. If you take your hand off of the bean, then that's a move. A move is a move. Uncle Benny says, okay, a move is a move. And he makes a move. A move is a move, my father says, and he jumps Uncle Benny's piece. A move is a move, says Uncle Benny, and he jumps Father's 2 pieces. And the deeper that they get into the game, the more they chew on their beards and shuffle their feet under the table, and they start humming the same tune. It's a chant. What's to be done, oh, what's to be done, oh, what's to be done, intones my father. Shall I move here? He'll go there. If I move there, he'll go here. And Uncle Benny helps out. Move here, move there, move here, move there, move here, move there. Why should I be afraid? Father sings on. If he takes this piece, I'll take 2 of his. But what if he is planning to take 3 pieces? 3 pieces, 3 pieces, 3 pieces. Uncle Benny helps him along. And before they can go any further, Mother comes in from the kitchen. Her face is flaming red. She's followed by Bryna carrying a huge platter of latkes. Everyone goes to the table. My brother and I, who were fighting like a cat and a dog just a moment before, we make up and we settle down to the business of eating latkes. In the morning, our mother bundles us up in a warm coat and long shawls, and we start out to claim our Hanukkah gelt. First of all, naturally, we go to Moshe Aaron's house. He's rich, but cheap. Good morning, Aunt Pessel. Good morning, Uncle Moshe Aaron. We burst out together. Aunt Pessel, a tiny woman with one black eyebrow and one white, helps us take off our coats and unwinds our scarves and makes us blow our noses right into her apron. Blow, she says. Good, good. Blow real good. Yes, that's it. Don't be stingy. Blow more, more. Oh, that's it. Uncle Moshe Aaron, in a tattered bathrobe with quilted cotton skull cap on his head, cotton in one ear, and a sparse mustache, is rubbing his hands over the wash basin, croaking out his morning prayers. Aunt Pessel sits down facing us, hands on her heart, and starts her usual examination. What's your father doing? Nothing. What's your mother doing? Nothing. Did you render the fat? Yeah, rendered. You fried the potato pancakes? Yes, we fried. Uncle Benny came? Yeah, came. Played checkers? Yeah, played. And so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. Aunt Pessel blows our noses again, and she calls out to Moshe Aaron, Moshe Aaron, Hanukkah gelt for the children. He doesn't hear. He rubs his hands and continues. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. Aunt Pessel doesn't give up. She reminds him again, Moshe Aaron, the Hanukkah gelt for the children. Huh? Uncle Moshe Aaron takes out the cotton from one ear and puts it into the other ear. Hanukkah money for the children! Aunt Pessel screams right into his ear. Oh, my bowels! Oh, my bowels! Moans Uncle Moshe Aaron. And he holds his stomach with both hands. Oy, my bowels. Hanukkah money? What do the children want with money? What are you going to do with the money, huh? You're going to spend it, right? Huh? Waste it. How much did your father give you? Me? A ruble. Him? A half. A ruble? Oh, God, these children are being spoiled. They're being ruined. What are you going to do with a whole ruble? Spend it, huh? Yes, you're going to spend it, huh? Well, don't spend it. Do you hear what I say? Don't ever spend it. What are you going to do with it, huh? Spend it? Don't spend it? Is it any of your business, Moshe Aaron? Give them what's coming to them and let them go in good health. And Pessel intervenes on our behalf. Uncle Moshe Aaron opens all the drawers to the dressers, and he hunts around, and he finally comes up with some strange, huge green coins. All the time he's talking to himself. Nowadays children are being spoiled, ruined, totally ruined. He gives us coins Aunt Pessel blows our noses one more time and bundles us into our coats, and we're on our way to the next relatives, Uncle Benish's house. If you want to picture a place of complete chaos, go to Uncle Benish's house. No matter when you come in, you find perfect bedlam. They have a house full of children, half naked, dirty, unkempt, unwashed, always bruised, usually scratched, often bloodied, and usually with black eyes. One of the children may be laughing, another crying, one singing, another shrieking, one humming, another whistling. The one has put his father's coat on with the sleeves rolled up, another one is riding on a broomstick. This one is drinking milk from a pitcher. Another one is cracking nuts. Another one is walking around with a herring's head in his hand. Another one is sucking on a piece of candy, and from his nose, 2 runnels go down to his mouth. Wonderful, huh? Another one, well, Aunt Yenta must be strong as an ox to put up with this crew, but she curses them constantly, pinches them, shakes them all day long. She isn't particular. Whichever one is in reach gets a slap or a shove or a prod in the side. An ordinary slap is nothing, not even worth mentioning. It's her curses. I hope you choke, or I hope you die, or why doesn't someone kidnap you? These are the lesser curses. Words like the plague, cholera, or violent death. Violent death. These are uttered casually, without anger, as if you're saying, Good Shabbos. The house becomes quiet only when Uncle Benish comes home. But since Uncle Benish is a busy man who spends all of his time in the store, coming home for only meals, their house is a perpetual Gehenna. You know that word, Gehenna, hell. When we come in, we find little Ezrael riding on his older brother Getsy's back, with Froika and Mendel whipping Getsy on, one with the sleeve of an old jacket, the other with the cover of a prayer book. Chaim has found a windpipe of a slaughtered goose, and he's blowing it until he's blue in the face, and he manages to produce an eerie sound like the squeal of a pig. Zenvela, she is playing a tune on a comb, and David, a small boy of about 4, has put his shoes on his hands, and he's clapping to keep time. Sandro rushes in carrying a kitten by the scruff of its neck. The kitten's tongue is hanging out. Its eyes are shut. Its feet hang limply. You can almost hear it say, "See how I suffer here? They torture me. They make my life unbearable." In the corner, Esther, the oldest girl, is trying to comb and braid the hair of her little sister, Haska. But since her hair is curly and hasn't been washed in a long time, she is screaming at the top of her voice, and Esther keeps slapping her to make her stop. The only quiet one in the whole bunch is Piney. Piney is a tiny boy with crooked legs, and his shirt tail is pinned up behind him. The only trouble with Piney is that wherever he goes, he leaves a little trail behind. When they catch sight of the two of us, the children fall upon us like lotuses, grabbing our hands, our feet, and some of them actually leap at our heads. Chaim blows the windpipe straight into my ear. David, still wearing the shoes on his hands, throws his arms around us. Piney, with the shirt tail pinned up behind him, gets a hold of one of my legs and wraps himself around it like a little snake. The confusion of sounds and voices surrounds us and deafens our ears. In the midst of all this noise and confusion, Uncle Banish comes in with his tallis and tefillin, apparently on his way to the synagogue. And all at once everything becomes quiet. The children vanish. "Good morning, Uncle Banish," we cry out together, my little brother Model and I. "What are you doing here, you guys?" asks Uncle Banish. "Oh, I know, Hanukkah gelt." And he gives us each a 10-kopek piece. The children peek at us from the corners with bright little eyes like mice. They wink and they signal with their hands and make faces at us, trying hard to make us laugh. But with great effort, we control ourselves. We take the money and we run out of there as fast as we can to get away from this living hell. And they go on to all the different relatives, but they finally get home. When we finally get home from visiting the relatives, we hide in our room. "Well, Motel, let's get to work. Let's figure out how much money we have got. First, you be quiet and I'll count mine, and then we'll do yours." And I begin to count 1 ruble and 3 chetvertaks and 4 grivniks and 5 piataks, 6 kopecks. How much is that together? Well, let's see. A ruble, 3 chetvertaks, 4 grivniks, 5 piataks, 6 kopecks. Model, though, is impatient. He's transferring his money from one hand to the other and counting. 1 chetvertak and 1 chetvertak makes 2, and another one makes 3. So I've got 3 and 2 grivniks, and that's and then there's a piatak and another and another and another. So that's 3 grivniks. 3 piataks. 3 chetvertaks. Oh gosh, I have to start over again from the beginning. And we start all over, and we count, and we count, and we count, and we count. We can't add it up. We can't figure out how much money we have. And we take the old piatak that Moshe Aaron has given us, and we take it to Brianna. And we ask her, "Will you take this?" And she says, "Who palmed that off on you?" We're ashamed. We don't tell her. We keep quiet. "Let's throw it in the oven when no one is watching," says Model. I put a ruble under my pillow and I say my prayers. And a little later, Bryna comes in from the kitchen and she's carrying a huge platter of rubles. And she isn't walking, she's floating. And she's singing. Shasanisim Lavotenu. Model sits down and starts eating the rubles like they're latkes. "Model!" I scream out. "Model, what are you doing? Don't eat the rubles!" I sit up. I'm awake. It was a dream. The evil eye has visited me. Patui! 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 I spit 3 times. And then I go back to sleep. And that's the story of Hanukkah Gelt by Sholem Aleichem. And goodbye, good night, have a good Hanukkah. God bless you all.